Okay, so this tutorial is going to show you how to do a really quick 6-frame fire cycle that you can use. You can make it smaller, larger, whatever you want to do, because we're going to create it all within a symbol. So this is a sample of fire that we're going to replicate from Oliver's Adventures. So we're going to start with a new scene. And first thing, we're going to use the pencil tool. So I'm just going to choose a really weird green that I know I'm not going to use in the scene, so I can delete it later and know if there are any lines left. I'll be able to see them really easily. Really. There we go. Maybe I'll fix this little guy here. It's not really quite curly Q enough for me. Okay. We're going to keep, we're actually only going to have to draw 5 of the frames because we're going to copy this frame and we're going to paste it at frame 6 so that we know this is going to line up. What's going to happen with fire, we're going to use the onion skin here to make sure that we can see what's going on. Fire is going to tend to go up, and pieces of it are going to escape off. So I'm going to add some of those here. I'm going to add them at about, when did I put this at? Frame 4. Let's see what that looks like. It's starting to go up. We could stretch this up as well a little bit. Make it go in a little bit so it's kind of pulsating. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. Not bad. Okay. So then I'm going to go in and I'm just going to in between this so it's got a little bit more fluidity. Again, we'll have some pieces that will start to come off here. There we go. Just trying to get a little bit more of a fire going. Roll in between the next one. And if we only want to see it's right beside us, we can change the timeline up here. These 2 dots, you can pull them and extend them or shorten them so that you're only seeing a little bit of it. So in between this as well. And it's okay if it's a little bit. If you go outside the lines, that's okay because we're going to get rid of the lines. Let's see what happens. The last one. The great thing about fire is that it's a very organic. Okay. Oh, I've got this set to 30 frames per second. You want to make sure it's set to 24. So it's playing a bit fast here. Now, we can test this by turning it all into one symbol. So I'm just going to start by just drawing a random object and turning that into a symbol, and I'm going to call it fire. Mine might be a little bit different than yours. Make sure it's a graphic using CS5, but I've got it set to classic, so it should look pretty much the same. Click OK. I'm also using a Mac for this. So I want to go down here and select all of my frames, and I'm going to copy frames with Control-Alt-C. I'm going to edit my symbol, and I'm going to paste them Control-Alt-V. So now it's playing all within the symbol. I'm going to go back out. I'm going to get rid of my original, and I can move this whole thing as a symbol. I extend the timeline out here with F6 or F5, Shift F6 to get rid of that keyframe. And there's my fire. Okay. So it looks pretty good. This is a very simple, quick fire. Later on you'll learn more special effects that are more complex, but in a pinch you can do a quick 6-frame fire. We're going to color it in. Now, I don't really need this last frame, I just wanted to make sure that everything's going to line up correctly, so I'm going to get rid of it. So now I only have 5. I'm going to color them in using gradient. Okay, I'll put my color palette over here. I want to use a radial gradient. I want to make it nice, fiery kind of colors. Let's pick something nice and hot. Okay, so when you're going to color in, you want to make sure that it's unlocked so you can get the great fill. We're going to continue to color it upwards so that the gradient will actually look like it's animating up. Okay, we'll fill in our little gaps, so we can try small gaps first. Since I'm going to get rid of the lines, it doesn't matter if they're fully closed. There we go. Now, I want to get rid of all my lines. These ones are okay. So double click on, oops, when you're in the symbol, you're going to double click the outside edge and delete it. You can draw lines through to make it a bit easier. So next, we want to add, so we'll call this layer length. We want to add that glow that they had before. So we're going to use the ink bottle. We're going to make it like a bright yellow. Now, we are also I'm going to change this. Okay, why is this? Just select just the line, we can change it. I guess we no, I'll change it. Make it a little bit thicker. Change it to 2. Then we're going to do the rest. So just by clicking on the exterior, might be hard to see with just the yellow. It'll outline it. So we're going to just take this. They had it on a separate layer. You can do it on the same layer. I think it'll be fine. And just select that. And if we hit Control Alt S, it'll let you scale. Let's try 110%. A little bit too much. So we'll just undo that. Control Z. We'll try again. And how about just 103%. There. Now we got a little bit, maybe a little bit too much. Let's try 101. I just want to zoom in. No, not much change. Okay, we'll zoom back out. Do maybe we have to just adjust it. Okay, that's why it's on another layer. So we'll cut it, and we'll paste it in place using Control Shift V, and it'll be behind the flame. Now, the other thing that's done in the other scene is that instead of having a solid color, the color's alpha is set to 50. Yeah, but it's also yellow. Why did that change? There we go. So that's going to create kind of a glow. So we're going to do that for the next one as well. Hit Shift, we'll select that. Here. Going to size it. And we're going to change the color. And the other thing we can do if something is selected is Shift deselect the interior. Cut it. Create a blank keyframe of 7. And paste it in place. Size it up. Change the color. There we go. Continue on. F7. Paste in place. Size it up. Change the color. Paste it in place, size it up, change the color, there we go. So now, call this one glow, and then we're going to create, oh maybe this was called something else, lines, we'll call this one glow. So we're going to add a great big circle. We don't need a line around it, so we'll get rid of the line. And yeah, we should just keep that. We should have kept that radial gradient here. So we'll do orange and we're going to fade it. So don't worry if it seems a bit too bright now, that's okay. We're actually going to switch these because I want the dark color on the inside. Okay. Now, to turn this into a symbol, F8, and call it glow. Then I'm going to go under the properties and change the alpha so that it becomes more see-through. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, in addition to that, is actually add a third color here, which I'm going to put it to nothing, and I'm going to fill that in. I have to edit the symbol in place. There you go. Now I got this nice glow around the edge. So go back up to fire, and you can see nice glow. I'm going to make it. I'm going to hit F6 to copy that keyframe. And then I'm going to size this. About let's see, how big does 110 get us? There we go. That's a nice little glow. So if we look at it, it's very subtle. I'm just going to copy these. That's glowing. Okay. And there you have it. Go out to scene 1. We have our nice glowing fire. Now, if you wanted to put this glowing fire, let's add another frame here. Let's say that we wanted to put this fire in a torch. I don't know. Let's draw a torch. And we'll color the torch in. Let's do this quickly. Oops. Okay, so call this torch. Fire. And we can resize because the fire is all contained within one symbol. We can rotate it, but the fire would be going up. Kind of hidden. Right there a little bit. Now, and play. There we go. Now, sometimes you can see, if you watch while it's playing, it's only playing at 10 frames per second, so this isn't the actual speed. So you can go to Control, test the movie, and it'll export it to a Swift. It seems to be playing about the right speed, but you'll still want to try to export it to a QuickTime to make sure that it's playing at the correct speed that you want it. But this looks pretty good to me. Smaller files will be okay with that. Once you get to larger animations, you will really want to test it as a QuickTime. Alright, so there we have it, playing. If you have, maybe some undesirable part, like right here, it's kind of going behind the torch. I don't really like that too much. Maybe we want to add a mask layer to that. So we can go in and we want to paint the mask. I'll use a bigger paintbrush. brush here. Wherever we want the glow to be seen. Or wherever we want the fire to be seen. Like this. So now this area won't be seen. We'll change this to mask, and these will seem connected. There'll be an indentation to show that that layer is being masked, and now we can't see that edge any longer. There we go. There you have it. Fire.